Good evening. My name is Brightops, and welcome to Mordheim, City of the Damned. We're going to be taking a small break from the adventures of the Forgotten Iron Wolves for a time. We will be returning to them at some point, I promise you, to finish off their second arc, but I decided to have a poll to see if people would be interested in seeing another warband be run for a while, and the votes came in. The answer is yes, we will be giving them a bit of a break so that we may witness one of the other warbands in action. Now, for those of you who have followed who remember back in the ye olden days when I started the first Mordheim series, that there was a three-way vote between the human mercenaries, the Skaven, and the Sisters of Sigmar. And I settled who I would pick via a online dice roller. I also gave the promise that if I was to do a second Mordheim series, that one of the two runners-up would be chosen, would be the warband that would be up front and to be chosen. And after giving a brief coin flip, the winner is the Sisters of Sigmar. I have never actually run a Sisters of Sigmar warband before, so this will be interesting. But that being said, let us begin. We will start at rank 0, as is tradition.
In the name of Most Holy Sigmar, I greet you, sister. Your service and dedication to our order has long been in my mind. As High Matriarch, I must put your conviction and valor to the ultimate test. Hold fast to your faith. Keep Sigmar's glory in your heart. Remember the tenets of your devotion, and I know you will acquit yourself as a matriarch should. Well do you know the calamity that visited judgment upon this city. The hammer of Sigmar descended from the heavens to strike down the wickedness of this place. The rock alone was spared, our tiny bastion of piety within the decadence of Mordheim. Yet, in maintaining our own purity, did we not forsake our duty to the people around us? Did we not become frustrated and abandon them to their wantonness? In that, we wronged Sigmar, and for that crime our order must be redeemed. The cult of Sigmar has branded us heretics and worse. We must prove to them, prove to the Grand Theogonist himself, that our faith has not been tainted. Only by cleansing the corruption from Mordheim, atoning for our earlier failures, can we be restored. It is a dangerous duty I must entrust to you, to lead a warband of our sisters into the ruins and gather the corrupt Wordstone. If Mordheim is to be purged, then the taint must be locked away where it can work no further harm. There are many who covet the foul stones, both human and inhuman. You must persecute them all with the zeal of Holy Sigmar. You can't allow mercy to temper your purpose. Let nothing cause you to falter in this sacred duty. For it is only through our faith that we can ever emerge from this darkness and walk again in the light of glory and honor.
And there we have it. We have our new warbands. And our new liaison, as it were, the High Matriarch of the Sisters of Sigmar. Now let's see, we've got some recruiting to do. But let's see who we have to work with. We could pick up a smuggler, obviously. And we've got some Wolf Priests of Auric. Let's see. Those are henchman class. Ah, yes, here we go. We've got our actual Sister Superior. And as I'm sure that many of you have remember this one, we have lost more than one person to the Warhammer of the Sister Superior of other warbands. But as much as I would like to pick up a smuggler, I think at this early stage we might just take the good sister here, just to see what she can do. Let's see, her secured, and now we get to our... Okay. So we have our two henchmen. What have we got here? We've got the novice and we've got the sister. Now, what exactly is the difference? Let's see, heavy armor, shoot. They can't use, neither of them can use range. Both of them seem to be able to use the same things, too. Huh. Oh, wait. Ah, okay, it seems to be in stats that we have our differences. Let's see, just quickly. So, you're... And this... Okay. I'm starting to notice some slight differences here. See, for example, the sisters themselves are a little bit weaker in strength than the novice, and definitely a little bit less agile, but they make up for it with having a bit more well-rounded stats. They're also a bit more of a bit stronger leader, though they're not quite as alert by like one. But the main difference seems to be in martial, which has the sisters having a lot more of a martial skill, whereas the novice can be a lot more accurate, which, while it is clear that they can't use ranged weaponry, they can. Accuracy also has the benefit of being what determines things like crit chance. So, effectively, the novice has the potential to be a lot more of a critter than the sister. Let's see. Actually, hang on. There's an easy way of telling if there's any major differences. We'll take one of both. Have a quick look. Let's see. Passive skills. Military training. After dealing melee damage, dodge trance increases by 5% for 1 turn, and it is stackable. That is a damn good ability to have. As for the sister, Repentance. After gathering a wordstone, movement range increases by 2 meters for 2 turns. Not stackable. That's not a bad ability either, actually. Because just being able to pick up and run with wordstone is damn useful. Though I think for this... Actually, should it be... I think at this early stage we might go with 2 novices, just simply because their ability being a bit more used to fighting, early game tends to be a bit more of a slugfest. But we'll see what can be done. But at any rate, I'm going to, via the power of editing, I'm going to be right back after I've done some alterations to our warband, shall we say. One moment. And via the power of editing, we return to find some new faces and some introductions that need to be had. First off, we have renamed the warband. We were originally called the Daughters of Doom. However, I've decided to change it to the more appropriate The Bright Crusade. Does seem to suit it a bit better. But anyway, introductions. First on our list, we have Ben Davy the Silent, the Sigmarite matriarch of the Bright Crusade. Or at least the initial one. We'll at some points we're probably going to pick up a second leader, just so that we can swap them out and allow the off one to train up, or basically just take over in the event of injuries and the like. But anyway, here's our initial one. Moving on, we have Miss Lana, the Sister Superior. As we can see from the fact that she wields a pretty dangerous looking warhammer, she is not one to mess with. And I fully intend to hammer that point home amongst anyone who we come across. Next up we've got Aldin Carlson, a novice. A very somewhat simple looking attire, but at this early stage, we'll do what we can. Plus, I haven't really gotten any preferred colors from Ardyn before. So if you want to just send me that information at some point, like in the comments or something, we'll see what we can do. We also have Grey-Vested, the henchman's sister. You can't really see them over in the corner, but she is dual-wielding hammers, and she's wearing a lot of grey. And last we have Valentine Meekin, the last novice. And thus bringing them all together makes up the initial members of the Bright Crusade. Now with that out of the way, we've also, I should mention, also had a look at the veteran system. Most of it's pretty similar to what the Forgotten Wolves had, such as, Commander, Healer, Scholar, and Renowned, which respectively means upkeep of leaders and impressives is cheaper, Healer is reduces the treatment of warriors, Scholar reduces the costs of training, and Renowned reduces the cost of hiring new people. We also have picked up the Contract Armorer, which effectively means that each day there is about a 10% chance we will get a free heavy armor. Which, considering that all of our people can wear heavy armor, we're probably going to try and take advantage of at some point. Though we will, of course, need to get some training underway. While we're at it, we'll just have a quick look to see if... Well, we'll pick up a helmet. And why not? We'll give someone a frail just to give them a bit more variety. And why not? That great... Let's see, I'm pretty sure someone can have a great frail. Let's have a look-see. Do a bit less... That will give Miss Lana the Great Frail. It's a bit less... You don't get the same kind of crit damage as you would with the hammer, but you do bypass armor absorption. So this thing is gonna go punch through heavy armor like no one's business. We'll also give her a helmet just so that she's got one. And as for frail, yeah, Miss Valentine looks like that she would appreciate being able to frail someone in the face. Now, let's see. Hammer. You know what? Just for the sake of it, we'll give our great hammer to Grey-Vested. 'Cause why not? Now, with all that out of the way, we're going to do a bit of let's have a look at what missions we can do. Okay, so we've got a Redstone Rush with very poor in both stone and equipment. Let's see, we've got a Marked for Death, which is average on both, and a Hunters and Prey, a Crush Their Will, which is average and poor. I'm inclined to go with Marked for Death here. Let's see, one warband is caught exploring buildings while the other deploys around their wagon. So either way, we're in a pretty solid position.
Exploring one of the city's old residential districts, you quickly discover that you aren't alone. Another warband is looting the nearby buildings. Dispersed in the ruins, the scavengers present an inviting target for your warriors as they deploy near your wagon.
Okay, and as we can see from our target's name and the token they're having, we're up against the undead. The gate enemy to go up against, but we shall see what we can do. Let's see, where are we? We are here. And the enemy wagon's over here. Okay. Well, I guess we're not gonna really have to do anything too special for this one. Because we know where the enemy is. They're going to be around their wagon. And most of the stuff is on the way to them anyway, so we might as well just go in and start trying to kill some people. Now, as we've seen from basically what information we've gathered of the sisters, they were in order in Mordheim prior to the landing of the comet that basically turned it from a highly populated, very wealthy city to, well, you can see what's happened to it after that. And unlike everyone else who was here, the sisters got off pretty alright. As was mentioned, their main monastery, the fortress, the rock, was a fortress that more or less got away from the devastation of Mordheim perfectly fine. Though it seems they have taken it upon themselves to consider that they might have been able to do a lot more good in the days before the arrival of the comet, if they had actually tried to sway the populace away from their horrific ways. And thus they must seek redemption for their inaction. Which, honestly, the fact that Mordheim became like this isn't their fault, but they've made it their mission to try and purge the city of all the horrific bullshit that's happened here in order to try and redeem themselves, if only in their own eyes. Let's see, can we get down there this turn? From the looks of it, no. Miss Lana's currently by herself for a moment, but we have got a fairly good distance on the enemy, so the rest of the warband should have caught up before things get out of hand. I will admit, as for what position on the undead warband this actual target is, honestly, I'm not sure. Because usually, I'm fairly certain that that if it was the vampire themselves, the name would be longer and more grandiose. It could be a zombie, by all means, but it could also be
A new round has started.
their hero, who I'm fairly certain at this early stage would have to be basically. What were they called? It's kind of that Igor-looking guy. Okay, we've seen Vamp. Yep, as I said. Vampires tend to have long, grandiose names. This one... Yeah, something as simple as just 2 names is just not their style. So, that being said, we still do have to kill the stupid vampire because he is a dangerous son of a bitch. Alright. We'll take that some money, because money is good. And whoo-hoo-hoo. A cluster this early on is not to be sneezed at. Especially if combined with... Oh wait, that's a shard, not a... That's a fragment, not a shard. Unfortunate, but... no real surprise there. See, that is also another... fragment. You know what, we'll just take the fragment, just so that we've got... Because at this early stage, beggars can't really be choosers. Alright, and Valentine is quickly catching up. So if nothing else, Miss Lana isn't alone down here anymore. Let's see, Sigmar's Might. Divine Spell, self and allies within 5 meters radius around the caster. Increases melee critical hit chance by 5% and melee damage by 10. Not bad. Not bad at all. And there's our vampire. We're just gonna hold our ground here, see if we can lure him in. Because if we can knock him off, then that takes a lot of the scare out of the undead dead's wings, as it were. Nothing quite like defanging something as dangerous as this before it has the chance to bite. Yes, I will. Yes, I will continue to make puns. Well, there's one of our target. Well, not the target, but there's one of them. One of our enemies. And Grey Vested has come down to join the rest of the party. Beautiful.
A new round has started.
Oh, this is bad. Whew! Actually, I think he's... Yes, he's got a spear. He's got a spear, which, under the circumstances, is probably the best we could hope for. Because spears, the way that the spear works is... Thankfully, her back's against a wall, so she can't actually flee. I mean, granted, that's not great by any means, but... what it does mean is that she's not running away and thus giving them a free shot. Okay, how are we gonna do this? Yeah, from the looks of it, it is definitely there. It is definitely their other hero that we have to be concerned about. That is our target, as it were. Well, despite the fact that our people are going up against a literal vampire, they seem to be holding their heads holding it together rather well. Which, under the circumstances, is great. And Valentine's prevented that zombie from joining the fray, at least as far as the vampire and ghoul is concerned. And Grey Vested definitely puts that hammer to use. Oh boy. See, the only problem is that because
a new round
she
has
failed
started.
that all alone check, she didn't actually get to do anything like something like dodge or parry. Thankfully, we've given our vampire another target, and it's taken up his full attention. Let's see, there goes the ghoul. And alas, we didn't quite get the vampire. And the damn zombie just survives, frustratingly enough. One does have to ask, though, where the hell is our target? Nope, we don't really need to worry about too much about hammers. Hammers is probably one of the few things we've got plenty of. Just giving everyone who's currently engaged with the vampire a bit of a blessing. Just to make sure that it goes down at some point. Ooh, that is just what we needed. And the zombie's dead. No real issue there, because zombies do not affect enemy morale.
A new round has started.
Yes, the thing about the spear is it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it does have bonuses to effectively both dodging and bypassing dodge and parrying. So it doesn't do quite as much damage, but you're more likely to hit. I'm just having Valentine make sure this inconvenient zombie doesn't get anywhere it doesn't need to be. Okay. And our target is seen at last. Unfortunately, there's a very real chance once we kill this guy, that the rest. Yep. Very real chance that once we kill him, that the rest of their warband's just going to break and fall apart. Still, maybe we'll get lucky and they'll stand and fight for a little while longer. You never know. It's unlikely, but you know, as I said, you never know.
A new round has started.
Yeah, they've broken. Not surprisingly, very early on, the vampire is basically what holds the undead warbands together. If he goes down, they're more or less screwed.
Blessed are the triumphant, for in them shines the glory of Sigmar.
But all in all, not a bad beginning. Sure, I would have preferred to get the secondary objective, but hey, we went up against the undead and we didn't die, so take what you will. Okay, you're fine. Doing alright. Doing alright. Not a bad beginning, and we gained 30 stone from just 30 ward stone without any issues, which this early on is a great thing for us to have. But at any rate, until next time, my name is Brightops, and I look forward to hearing from you.